remember. You have nothing to prove.
Now, while Disney's Encanto is original in many ways, such as it being the first Disney movie set in Colombia and featuring the first protagonist with glasses, there are still many parallels to be drawn between Encanto and the movies that came before it. So, we thought that we'd take a look at some of the biggest similarities between Encanto and other Disney movies in general, and the bonds that they all share. But, 2 quick notes before I do.
First of all, there's no cause for alarm.
I am definitely going to miss a bunch, so please throw any other connections in the comment section below. And secondly, there will be Encanto spoilers in this video, so if you don't want to know why we don't talk about Bruno, we'd recommend coming back to this video after you've seen the movie.
Call the first witness.
Now, first on this list is the theme of decay and the plot point that the movie's central heroine must embark on a journey to save their family's fractured home, which is at risk of breaking once and for all. In Encanto, the central danger is that the magic that brings the family's home, La Casita, to life is failing without any clear reason. And Mirabel, the only one seemingly taking this threat seriously, must discover and fix the problem before it's too late and ultimately make a sacrifice by embarking on this journey. Now, this is similar to a number of Disney movies, such as Mulan, Frozen, Raya and the Last Dragon, and namely Moana. In Mulan, the threat is much more external, as Mulan joins the Imperial Chinese Army to repel the Han invasion, but she does so to protect her home and in particular her father, who is too elderly to fight. Now, arguably, without a heroine like Mulan, we may not have had characters like Mirabel, Raya, and Moana. In Frozen, Anna must leave her home of Arendelle to retrieve her sister and prevent her from accidentally causing a permanent winter. And in Raya and the Last Dragon, Raya must locate a lost magical pendant to restore order and balance to her homeland and save people from turning to stone. But as we said, the one that we can arguably draw the most parallels to is Moana, as like Encanto, the movies start with a period of harmony, until a threat that seems external soon proves to actually be from within, while the young protagonist must save their home from this impending decay and rebuild their family homes. Seeing as the two movies are from the same creative team and also have the same composer in Lin-Manuel Miranda, but more on him later, it isn't exactly surprising that these two movies have similar themes. Although, one notable difference is that unlike Moana, Mirabel doesn't actually have to go that far from home to find out the problem, and the story's actually much more centralized in one location. Kinda running parallel with this theme of decay and a heroine having to go on a journey to save her home is the theme of the loss of magic and a race against time, and the power of a central magical object dwindling. In Moana, she must return the heart of Te Fiti before the decay consumes her home island. In Raya, as we mentioned, it's the magical pendant that must be restored to prevent and save people from turning to stone, like her very own father. For Encanto, the home is their literal house, while the central object that keeps the magic alive is the candle that saved them after their abuelo was murdered. Also, in Tangled, Rapunzel is losing her magic and her power and actually ends up losing it at the end of the movie, similar to Encanto. And also, this one is a bit of a reach, but Beauty and the Beast also has the idea of time running out with the whole rose and the petals falling and inanimate objects coming to life, but I'll admit that one is a bit of a stretch. Of course, these themes run broader than just the Disney animated movies, and there are lots of other movies that have similar plot points, most of which I can't think of right now, and the one that I can't think of is gonna irk some people. Because I just watched it, okay, get off my back, Night at the Museum 3 also has similar plot points, with the characters having to go on a plot to save the magic before time runs out, and the inanimate objects that are given life by the magic return to their original form, but I don't know, I think comparing Encanto to Night at the Museum 3 might annoy some people. Also, you're probably saying that it's not a Disney movie either, but because Disney own Fox now, I'm gonna use it as a cheat. Now, if the last one irked you, I know this one will really annoy you, as you can also compare Encanto to 2 Studio Ghibli movies.
I told you, Charlie, I got an angle.
Kiki's Delivery Service and Princess Mononoke, which I am adding to this list because A, they're great movies, B, Disney are the sole distributor for Studio Ghibli, and C, they're great movies. In Kiki's Delivery Service, Kiki finds herself losing her powers without understanding why, but they're finally restored through a grand act of bravery. while Princess Mononoke is about a homeland that's under threat from a benign external threat that has the potential to corrupt and consume them. Oh, and how can I forget about Howl's Moving Castle? That's literally about a magical house which also gets destroyed. But anyway, let's get back to Disney movies proper, shall we? Another central theme in the movie is the power of family and how an elder family member's paranoia causes deep-seated family issues. Of course, Mulan is all about her trying to protect her family and keeping them safe. Raya has similar themes as she wants to restore her family and keep them safe. And of course, so does Moana. And parallels can be drawn between her father, who's afraid of the unknown and places his fears on his daughter and tries to dissuade her from going on her mission. In Encanto, Mirabel's abuela has similar tendencies, as it's her paranoia of losing the magic that fuels her motive to try and stop Mirabel from addressing the threat. But they take this theme even further, as it is her overbearing nature and the pressure she puts on her family that is actively causing the magic to fail. Now, the themes of family are also prevalent in the movie Coco, and they also have a disapproving abuela who actively pushes the plot forward and causes the rift in the family. Of course, more parallels can be drawn between Coco and Encanto. Both are heavily influenced by Latin American culture, both have very vibrant color palettes, and both also have scenes that will bring you to tears. I mean, who didn't well up in the Coco Remember Me scenes, huh? It's impossible. Also, I know that Coco is Pixar, okay, but Disney owns Pixar, so again, I'm gonna count it. Themes of family are also prevalent in Frozen, as not only is the loss of a relative the trauma that sets the groundwork for the movie, but Elsa also pushes Anna away because she's scared of her own powers and doesn't want to hurt her again. Also, I know this isn't a Disney movie, but I can't help myself. Family is also a key theme in Fast and Furious, as Dom makes sure to tell you multiple times. Does this mean that Vin Diesel is a Disney princess? I sure like to think so. Going back to the links to Frozen, another connection is the idea of a character with powers becoming ostracized and the black sheep, as their powers are misunderstood and they isolate themselves to protect those closest to them. Elsa shuts herself away from Anna for decades as she is unable to control her power, which her parents saw as dangerous, and she didn't want to hurt her sister again. Once Elsa's powers become out of hand, she flees and isolates herself entirely, sacrificing companionship to protect the people of Arendelle and, of course, her sister. With Bruno's power being misunderstood and the fact that he was hurting those around him because of it, he decided to isolate from the people he loved the most and disappoint his mother so that he wouldn't hurt them any longer. Also, both Elsa and Bruno were villains in early drafts of their respective movies, but thankfully, that was scrapped. Now, while Disney has some classic villains, recent Disney movies have opted to go with a new trend of not having an out-and-out antagonist, and Encanto is another example of this. While Mirabel's abuela has some antagonistic moments, she is by no means a villain, and her motives are well-intentioned. There isn't a typical evil villain that's been seen in many other Disney movies, even including the more recent ones like Mother Gothel in Tangled, Prince Hans in Frozen, or Mayor Bellwether in Zootopia. Another thing Encanto has in common with other Disney movies is a secondary character who holds an important clue or is the clue to solving the mystery, but is reluctant to get involved. In Encanto, that's Bruno, while in Zootopia it's Nick Wilde, Moana it's Maui, and in Raya and the Last Dragon it's Sisu. Well, we said we'd mention him again, as another thing Encanto has in common is a soundtrack by Lin-Manuel Miranda, who also wrote the songs for Moana.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Now, one of the things that Encanto has been best known for is its killer score, with We Don't Talk About Bruno and Surface Pressure being as big as, if not bigger, than hits such as Let It Go and How Far I'll Go. We Don't Talk About Bruno has, at the time of this video, 222 million views on YouTube. What makes this more surprising, though, is actually the difference between the style of songs, as it's not a typical big ballad with a soaring melody like Disney songs are known for, as instead a spooky salsa beat performed by an ensemble cast. Oh, and fun fact, Bruno was originally called Oscar in the first draft, but it's easy to guess why they changed the name, as We Don't Talk About Oscar doesn't have the same ring about it, does it? Now, it wouldn't be a Disney movie without lovable anthropomorphic animals, so it's no surprise that Encanto has a fair few lovable critters in there, such as Bruno's rats who like to take a shower, the donkeys Luisa herds, the toucan that follows Mirabel to Bruno's room, and all of the animals that Antonio hangs around with. Now, another thing that connects Encanto to the more modern Disney movies is the absence of a prince and a central love interest, something which, to be honest, has been quite refreshing. While there is the love story in Encanto with the family love triangle, it is a secondary plot point and there is no prince or love interest that helps Mirabel save the day. Moana is the most notable for this, but Zootopia removes the romantic theme from Judy and Nick's relationship. But anyway, those are my takeaways from the movie and the connections I made, but feel free to drop yours down in the comments below. And finally, as I'm out of connections, let's just end on a piece of trivia instead. Apparently, Stephanie Beatriz was originally going to be offered the role of Luisa, but when the producers met with her, they realized that she was not like Rosa Diaz from Brooklyn Nine-Nine in real life, but much more bubbly. So they offered her the part of Mirabel instead, and the rest is history.